Hello, my name's Morgan Jones, and I have a nice guy story from high school. Take of this what you will. It may be enlightening for some of you folks in the same situation that I was in at this time period. So, without further ado, there was a girl who I was quite into. She was charming and talented and funny and smart and pretty and she was I was fucking into her, right? And she dated a string of other guys, all of which those relationships didn't last very long. And I was a friend of hers throughout this entire time period. And at first, like that's actually all I wanted to be, really. But there hit a point where I wanted something else. I wanted her. And there comes a time in every boy's life. And I thought, you know what? None of these guys are right for her, which is why the relationships aren't lasting very long. I'm the one who's right for her, right? It's me. Duh. Um, so how do I make this happen? How do we be together? Well, I'll guess I'll tell her, right? I'll tell her that I love her, because I love her. So that's what I did. I went up to her, and during a class break one day, we were sitting down, and I just said, "Hey, I think I'm in love with you." And she said that I ruined our friendship, and no, 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 and hell no, not happening at all. She was extremely clear. I've heard stories from other guys who talk about like their girl leading them on. My guess is that she's not, and that you're just misinterpreting signals because of what you want to think that she's doing. But this was all I can say was that was definitely not the case here. She was not leading me on. She was extremely fucking clear, as clear as you can possibly be, that she was not into me at all, and that this relationship was never going to happen. And I, of course, let all of that go completely over my head because that was not the answer that I wanted. And I wasn't honest with myself at the time, but I didn't actually a relationship is a two-way thing, but I didn't respect her input into the relationship. It was about what I wanted. Because I thought, but I'm perfect for her and she's perfect for me and we're meant to be together. So ultimately she's wrong and I'm going to have to make her realize that she's wrong somehow. And I did that by trying to show her that I loved her. By almost, we were in every class together. I was just her shadow all of the fucking time. And telling her that I loved her occasionally. And I kept trying to lawyer her into getting into a relationship with me because I didn't know how else to do it. It was so completely unromantic and weird. It was like I was like a fucking robot or alien trying to mimic some weird attempt at wooing somebody. And I remember at one point I used the metaphor as a relationship is a siege. I was going to break down the walls, which was highly unromantic, and she was having fucking none of it. So I was blind, and I did this for almost a year. This lasted for almost a year before, at one point, she looked at me and she says, "You're just always here." And I realized, hey, she's angry about it. She doesn't want me to be here. And she'd been very clear before, but suddenly it struck home. Like, somehow this was finally when my brain comprehended she doesn't want to be with me. I'm making her miserable. I'm making myself miserable. This relationship has become toxic, and it's my fault. And this is never going to happen. Ever. And I finally realized I needed to accept that, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, and I walked off, and then I finally did the first smart thing that I'd done all fucking year, which was that I stopped stalking her essentially, right? I mean, I wasn't giving her the cold shoulder. She was a fellow classmate. I wasn't mad at her. If she came up to me and wanted to chat or hang out, then I would. But I wasn't going to be her shadow, anymore. I wasn't going to stand there hovering, hoping that at some point she would turn and give me some affection. That wasn't happening anymore. I couldn't do that to myself, and I couldn't do that to her. And so I stopped entirely, immediately. And I was shocked by how easy it was. It was so easy. And I didn't actually fully comprehend until much later that I never really cared that much about her at all. You know? I mean, I kind of cared about her as a friend, but I didn't really care about her beyond that, really much. And I got other friends, and it was fine. I just wanted to have what I saw everybody else having. I saw everybody else, dating people. I saw them kissing and cuddling and rubbing noses and doing all of those other things that people do when they're dating, and I wanted that too. And she was the person I most wanted it with, but when she left the school, I moved on. And and it was amazing. I look back, I'm like, wow, I had no fucking respect for her during all that time period, and I thought I was so nice, and I was being such a fucking asshole. Cause and something else I realized. The guys, the string of guys she dated, they were fine. There was nothing wrong with them. I was actually friends with some of them. They were perfectly decent guys. Okay, one of them was pretty fucking weird, but the rest were the rest were all right. And also they weren't like stereotypical high school like sexy jock assholes or whatever. They were just dorky fucking dudes like me. The problem wasn't, so what was the problem? And I think I've finally come to realize what the problems may be. There were many problems with me. I was extremely unhygienic. I almost never showered. I had hair that I didn't comb. It was long and it was in a rat's nest. There was dreadlocks everywhere, formed naturally. As I said, had like a really a robotic romantic view where I was like, okay, let's enter into this relationship. It was like a contract or some fucking thing. And I didn't know how to flirt. We didn't we weren't like touchy feely, or I wasn't like doing any of the typical flirting things. There were a lot of reasons why I mean, I don't technically know why, and she may not entirely know why she wasn't into me, but she wasn't. So that's what was important.